Good morning, my dear friends. Let me introduce myself. This is P. Krishnamurthy, lecturer in English, working at Government Degree College for Women, WANAPARTHY. So I sincerely invite you to this video class. And today is a very lovely morning and sunny morning. And I feel very happy to see you all and to meet you, to have very close discussion on the value orientation. Under this value orientation, so we are going to discuss two proverbs. So two proverbs. Actions speak louder than words. The first one. The second one is faith can move mountains. So before we go into the topic, let us have a recall about the things that have been completed. So for the last for the last 3 or 4 days, we have been talking about these value orientation. In the value orientation, we really enjoy ourselves and we really elated ourselves of knowing the inner meaning of these proverbs. So while reading the proverb, one has to understand the deeper meaning of that one. One has to understand the underlying meaning of that one. Then only we really enjoy ourselves like that. And we have to imbibe the inner values to the students. And thanks to the syllabus framers, the learners scholars, they had very good discussion before introducing this syllabus to UG candidates. So nowadays, we are in a very competitive world where commerce, economics, and all science and everything is galloping like anything. So in this fast-moving world, so we don't have so much of time to think over the values. At least certain topics are to be included in our curriculum so that there will be an occasion, there will be an opportunity for the teacher to teach the values to the student. They try themselves to imbibe the values among the students only. And that is in fact, that is needed. So in the rat race of Mars, and even students also just very rapidly they read the physics and just write something else in the examination, and they get some first class or second class. They get contented whatever the rank that they get. It's not the thing like that. When you read anything, when you study anything, you have to understand that one. You have to feel the essence of that study only. Then only knowledge is going to be complete. Knowledge is going to be enjoyable. Otherwise, I think it has no value at all. So let us think about these two proverbs. So value orientation, the major topic here. So the value orientation, under this major topic value orientation, we are going to have a very good discussion about the proverb expansion. And today, so actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. This is one proverb. The second one is faith can move mountains. Faith can move mountains. So they are extraordinary proverbs, extraordinary sayings, focusing on the personality development, focusing on the students' welfare, focusing how these quotations, these proverbs are going to imbibe human values in the students, how they are going to raise the spirits in them, how they are going to improve their self-confidence, their level of understanding, their level of seeing the things in the society. And with these quotations, with these proverbs, we understand how students mold themselves. If they don't mold by themselves, at least the job of the teachers, they have to mold the minds of the students in the classroom. In fact, it's needed. When they come to colleges, it is the job that is given to us that we have to change their mindset, and that change is towards progress. The change is towards development. The change is towards upliftment. The change is towards social welfare. The change is towards to think about the welfare of the people. That is called human values. So one by one we'll talk very clearly and understand the inner meaning of the proverbs, and let us try to enjoy how best they are going to give importance in our life. The first one, actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. Some people, they keep on talking, talking, even though they don't have any value at all, and they don't do any work at all. They just give false promises. They try to say this one and that one, and but as far as the action is concerned, they don't perform any action. So when you happen to see that kind of person in your lifetime, and you don't give any value to that person, because you know pretty well that that person always goes on speaking, even though there is no matter at all, even though there is nothing at all, even though he is not serious about the action, and we know pretty well that that person doesn't have any seriousness about the things that he speaks. There are some people, but some people are there in the society. They speak less and they do a lot. Society is an amalgamation of different attitudes, different views, different ideas, different perspectives, different personalities. That's why. So it is high time for all of us to know actions speak louder than words. So nowadays, we find people speaking about the values, and very few could follow the preachings. Very good could follow, could stick on to the values. That's very important. It is a popular expression to convey actions are more important than teachings. So actions are more important. What you teach, okay, it's also a welcoming thing, but how best you perform those teachings in your personal life, in your social life. You have to make balance between the actions and your speeches. You have to create, you have to always do, whether you are sticking, whether you are doing the actions, whether you are performing the actions, whether you follow the same rules and regulations, whatever you teach to the students, whatever you teach to the other members in the society, that you have to always analyze. You have to analyze, you have to question yourself, what you speak and what you do. So is there any difference? And both of them are so equal. When you think like that, when any individual thinks like that, definitely I think there won't be any gap between actions and teaching. That's why actions are important than teachings. Teaching, anyone can teach, anyone can preach, anyone can say all the words, do this one, do this one, do this one. One can, it's very easy to preach, it's very easy to teach, it's very easy to say the things, but it's very, very difficult to perform all those things into action. So here, this proverb, so actions speak louder than words. It emphasizes on doing rather than saying. It emphasizes on doing rather than saying. So you have to do the things. Don't speak 100 things. Speak 10 and perform 10. And in that way, the society is going to be better. Don't speak 100 and don't try to follow only 10 or 5 or any meager things. And that's the thing. Why? So the human values are just going down. What is the reason? Here, everybody tries to speak. Everybody tries to preach. Everybody tries to say this and that one. But very few members in the society stick on to the human values. Very few people come forward to help the fellow human beings. And that's the reason why these value orientation topics are included in the syllabus, included in the curriculum. When you go back to the past curriculums, that was ingraded, that's called integrated curriculum was there. Stories were there. And while explaining the story, automatically that human value is was said to be imparted to the students. So today we have a topic that's called value orientation. Under the topic of value orientation, we have been talking about the values. We have been talking about the great quality, the great knowledge that we gain from these proverbs. So here the actions speak louder than words. It emphasizes on doing rather than saying. It is to say, speak less and do more. Come on, speak less and do more. Some people always keep on talking. They are otherwise known as chatter boxes. They just babble something. They babble, go on babbling, go on talking, and the action is nil. That's a, speak less and do more. That's the reason always silence is gold. Speech is silver. There is one proverb, whether you know it or not, my dear young men and women, I want to draw the attention of all of you. Silence is gold, so speech is silver. Why speech is compared to the metal silver? The price of the silver is low. The price of the gold is very high. Why silence is compared to gold? Because it is equivalent to gold. It is very, very valuable. Instead of speaking so many things, if you perform the actions, and that is the best example. Set yourself as an example. Don't preach all the time. Set yourself as a model. Set yourself as an example and show to the people this is the way that the work has to be done. Set yourself as a model to all the members in your community. You have to do the works like this. You have to perform the things like that. You have to manage like this and become the leader. Become the leader so that all the members in the society try to follow you, whatever you do, and you are going to be the leader. In that way only Mahatma Gandhi became the leader of India. He became the leader in India. What is the reason? Because he performed. He spoke very less, but he performed more and more and more. And in that way, all the Indians, not only the Indians, all the members across the world, they became great followers of Mahatma Gandhi because he was a man of actions. He was a man of performance. He was a man of excellent ideas, excellent thoughts, and excellent actions also. That's why. So it is to say, speak less and do more. Speak less and do more. So actions speak louder than words. Instead of saying like this, example is better than precept. Example, the other version of this proverb, actions speak louder than words. The other version of this proverb, this could be said like this. Example is better than precept. Practice is better than precept. Example is better than precept. Be yourself an example. Don't teach all the people to do this to help. Come on, extend your help. Extend your coordination to this one. So try to provide your cooperation to all the members. Instead of giving all orders, instead of giving instructions, instead of giving all preachings and saying all the things, set yourself an example. That's the reason. Example is better than precept. It's always, the preaching is secondary and following is very, very important. Following the principles are that is very important. Then framing principles and teaching principles, because principles are there. The importance of principles comes into existence only when the principles are followed by the human beings. That's the reason. Set yourself an example. Example is better than precept. You may teach a lot of things, but you show only one thing. Just to say that earth is round. You want to explain to the students the earth is round, earth is round, earth is round. So when you teach to the students of lower classes and you want to say that earth is round, the planet is round, the earth planet is round. After all, small children, maybe in the third standard, fourth standard, fifth standard, they could not understand. In fact, their minds are not up to your expectation. So they don't understand so much. As long as you preach, as long as you teach about earth is round, instead of saying that one, you show that globe. You show that globe. This is earth. This is earth. When they see that earth, oh, the earth is round, they feel very happy. They enjoy. Yes, the teaching is perfect. Here the teacher, a good teacher is one. Instead of speaking so much about any theory, but you just show that one. Instead of teaching so much about any theory of any Albert Einstein theory, or maybe any Newton's theory, or maybe any other scientist theory, so take these students into the laboratory and allow them to work on that theory, and students understand, yes, this is real. This is real. So example is better than precept. Example is better than precept. So don't give orders to the people. Come on, serve the society. Serve the society. So help the poor people. So you lead that one. Become yourself as the leader and try to help the poor people in the society. And that is the best way that you can extend yourself. Practice is better than precept. It can also be said in that way, practice is better than precept. Practice, instead of preaching, instead of all principles, so practice is always better. So that is the meaning and explanation. That is the introduction I could say about this. Actions speak louder than words. Now let us study about the meaning and explanation about this proverb. Some promise easily, but in action they prove nothing. In our society, some promise very easily. Before they promise, they never look back, they never think about that one. Whether it is going to be possible, whether it's not going to be possible, they never think about that one. Simply they give promises, they make promises, and but in action they prove nothing at all. We find this kind of the mentality is this kind of the people in our society, some just just make promises without any thinking like that only, without having any idea, just to keep on give promises, but they prove nothing. So they prove nothing in actions. Some perform actions. The other side, the one side that I have spoken about, one set of the people, they make promises easily, but in action they prove nothing. When you go to the next side, the other side of the society, some perform actions, never speak about their greatness. Some perform actions, never speak about greatness. They never speak about their greatness, that they have helped, that they have contributed money, that they have contributed some amount for the welfare of the soldiers, for the welfare of military, for the welfare of the poorer sections, for the welfare of any social organization. Some people, they keep on donating money to many non-profitable organizations, but they simply keep quiet. They simply keep quiet. They don't reveal this one. For example, like J.K. Rowling, a famous writer of the 21st century, so 80% of our income is being donated to the non-profitable organizations for the welfare. So for the welfare, but she never reveals that one. She never reveals that one. Such kind of wonderful personalities that way. They do the actions. They speak less. They never speak about their greatness. But some people, just by giving 100 rupees, a great millionaire, so donating to 1,000 rupees, but he speaks so much about his donation of 1,000 rupees to non-profitable organization or maybe any human welfare organization. Like that, there are some people like that. So don't concentrate on doing things. I would like to say to all young men and women who are pursuing knowledge, who are in UG level, who are in PG level, you try to understand. So try to do the actions. So concentrate on doing things. So don't dream all the time. You dream and you work hard to make your dreams in reality. That's the reason. APJ Abdul Kalam, our former president of India, our superb scientist of India, our native scientist of India, he made it very clear. Dream, 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 and work very hard to make your dreams into reality. So you can dream, but dreams cannot be coming into reality. So they come into reality only unless you work hard. You just put forth your work and just you dream, and naturally you are going to achieve your dreams. Concentrate on doing things than having mere ideas. Be true in your actions. Whatever you do, be true in your actions. Don't act. Don't do any false actions. Be true in yourself. Be true in your actions. When you are teaching to the students of UG, so teach for the sake of teaching. Teach for the sake of the students. So teach for the sake of subject. Teach for the welfare of the students. Teach for the sake of the institution. Teach for the sake of knowledge. And in that way, so you are going to be a good teacher. So be true in your actions. And that encourages, that emphasizes the quality of doing actions more and more. So they never speak about their greatness very high. Maintain balance between promises and actions. Maintain balance between promises and actions. That's very important. My dear friends, you try to maintain balance between your promises and actions. They are very, very important. That one has to remember this one. Okay, so we'll go some more examples that I would like to give to you in support of this quotation or proverb. Examples with explanation. Some politicians, we are in the present society, some politicians, some politicians make false promises. they make false promises. Some politicians do remember the promises and perform actions with regard to them. So there are two sets of politicians. One set of politicians, they make false promises to the people of India. After getting elected, they simply forget whatever the promises that they have made before the elections. They simply forgot and they just remain like that only. But there are some other politicians. I don't say that all politicians are like that. So politician, we can't find fault with any politician. We find fault with each and every member in every department, in every section in the society. Some people are there who make false promises. Whether it might be a politician, it might be an officer, it might be a teacher, it might be a professor, it might be a software engineer, it might be a doctor, whoever it might be. Some politicians make false promises. Some politicians do remember the promises and perform actions with regard to them. They perform actions. That some politicians, they are very, very scrupulous. They are very action oriented. They are duty minded. So they are value oriented politicians also there. Though it's a modern society, you think that all politicians are polluted. It's not at all. It's not at all. Majority of the politicians are good in their books. So they do remember the promises and perform actions with regard to them. So this is the right time to think about Gandhiji, the father of the nation. Unless we think about Gandhiji's philosophy, I think, so knowing about this proverb, actions speak louder than words, I think it's going to be incomplete. Gandhiji says, one should not teach others what one cannot do. Dear friends, so whenever you want to learn, so read the preachings of Gandhiji, read so his autobiography, My Experiments with the Truth. So read Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, read Swami Vivekananda, read Nehruji, read Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So read some read about Tilak, read about these great people like Shastriji. So here Gandhiji says, one should not teach others what one cannot do. Actions speak louder than words. Some people speak words. They remain silent when actions come. It's not like that. One should not teach others what one cannot do. If I cannot do, I could not. If I cannot do one action, if I cannot perform this action, you should not teach that one to somebody else. Whatever you teach, that you should practice. One should not teach others what one cannot do. If I cannot do this one, I can't ask any person to do this one. When you are involved in any national service scheme, when you are doing any social service, social work, so do it, that's all. Do it and preach some other people to follow your principle. Without doing that one, standing like that, acting like that, and asking the people, come on, do this one. Do this social work. And people don't follow that one. They may nod their head. They may accept orally, but they don't accept you mentally. Psychologically, they don't accept you as their leader. That is the reason. Why Gandhiji was accepted by all the men and women of India. What is the reason? So the only thing is, he was not only a man of words, he was man of actions too. He was man of words, he was man of actions. That's the reason I say that. So whatever he practiced, he taught. Whatever he taught, he practiced. Practice what you teach. Teach what you practice. What a wonderful, wonderful philosophy. Teach whatever you practice. Practice whatever you teach. When you teach something else outside of your home, when you come to home, so try to remember all the preaching that you have taught to the other people. And you try to follow the rules at your home. Try to follow all these preachings. So in your personal life, in your domestic life, in your area, then only you will be called leader. Then only your ideas are respected in the society. Gandhiji so said like this: one should not preach others, one should not teach others what one cannot do. He was a man of words, he was a man of actions. He practiced whatever he taught whatever he practiced. That's a wonderful philosophy. It's very easy to teach about that one. It's very easy to explain about that one. But to implement, to practice, to imbibe that philosophy, to follow that philosophy, to implement that philosophy in one's life is so difficult. That's the reason. If you follow Gandhi's principle that any person could raise himself and herself to the highest level. That's the reason Gandhi is respected everywhere, in every town, in every city in the world, because of his principles, because of his actions, because of his strong ideas, because of his strong philosophy. That's why Gandhiji, exemplary personality. I could say that he is an exemplary personality, became role model to the entire members in the society, entire members in the world. So this is very nice to follow that. So preach whatever you teach, preach whatever you practice, practice whatever you teach. So now let's coming to conclusion. So in work environment, you will be assessed by your actions only. Remember, my dear friends, in any work environment, in any office, in any MNCs, in any popular company, in any multi any multinational company, in any organization, I could say that, whether it's a government sector, private sector, and corporate sector, whatever the sector that you are working in work environment, how the respect is gained by the individual, in what way that you gain respect, in what way that you get value in the society. You will be assessed by your actions. Remember, you will be assessed by your actions, but not by your speech. Your character is going to be assessed by your actions, not by your teachings, not by your words, not by your speeches. In work environment, what kind of work is executed by this person? What kind of work is done by this person? In what way he is associating with other members? In what way he is extending his help to other members? Whether this person has got interpersonal skills, whether this person has got intrapersonal skills, whether the person has got problem solving method, whether this person has got a leadership quality, whether this person possesses communicative skills, whether he is a man of all helping nature. So all these skills are going to be very important in work environment, and you are going to be assessed accordingly. If you go on speaking, if you go on saying all the words, when you remain silent without doing any work in the work environment, you are not you are not included. So you are not included as a member of work. You are not going to be recognized. You are going to be remain as unrecognized person only in that work environment. That's why your character is assessed by your actions only. That one has to understand. So output is more important. What you speak is not important. So output is important. Output is important than what you explain. What you preach is not important. What you execute is important. What you perform is important. What you perform is important. So some students also, after the time is over, some students, they come out from the examination house and say that I could have done very well. Don't say all those things. When time is given for you, when 3 hours of time is given to you, you have to perform within the time. You have to execute all your talents, all your skill within that limited, confined time, and you have to prove that you are an extraordinary person in writing the examination. So output is important. How knowledgeable you are and how talkative you are, there it's not going to be done there. You may be talkative, you may be knowledgeable, you appear you are knowledgeable, you speak on every topic, and you are very talkative on each and every topic on this earth. But when you fail in the interview, people talk very low about yourself. That's the reason I would like to say to all the young men and women who are pursuing knowledge. So in UG courses and PG courses, try to remember output is more important than what you explain. What you explain. Don't teach so much. Don't preach so much. Don't talk so much, and perform actions. So follow the values in your real life. That is very important. Work is worship. I say that work is worship. Work is worship. Everyone has to understand work is worship. So these actions speak louder than words. What is the idea behind this one? Example is better than precept. So practice is better than the precept. And so from this proverb, what we you love you worship your work. Work is worship. So do work. That's all. Even Rabindranath Tagore also, in one of his poems of Gitanjali, he advocated so radically like anything, so superbly. So worship your work. God is there where work is worship. God is found so in any person who is always involved in work. God is present with those people who always do some work for the sake of the society, who always try to perform the actions for the welfare of the humanity, and God is there. What an excellent philosophy. So when you read poetry of Rabindranath Tagore, a great colossal personality, so when you understand, so from his Gitanjali, what is advocated, work is worship. So actions speak louder than words. You speak many things, but what is the result here? That one has to understand. So in that way, the first proverb, actions speak louder than words, is completed. Now we'll go to the next one. Next one, what is that one? Next one, faith can move mountains. Yeah. Dear friends, we are so fortunate enough to know in detailed way about these proverbs. We got an opportunity, we enjoy ourselves to know better of these quotations, in what way these quotations and proverbs are going to enhance our human values. Only once we complete understanding this one, we only understand how best so that we have become. Faith can move mountains. Faith can move mountains. It's all about a quotation. It's all about a proverb on self-confidence. What is your faith? What is your belief? What is your faith on yourself? Your faith is your friend. Your faith is your master. Your faith is your leader. Your belief is your leader. Your belief is your preacher. So your faith is friend, philosopher, and guide. Remember this. Faith can move mountains. You see, it's all figurative. This proverb, all proverbs appear figurative in the verse because they allow us to understand the beauty of that proverbs. When you read on the surface the proverb, faith can move mountains. When you try to understand the typical meaning, the bookish meaning of that sentence, you don't understand that one. You don't understand that one. When you understand like a farmer, when you read that one as a poet, when you read that one as a writer, when you read that one as a member who can understand the beauty of a language, you only enjoy the beauty of that proverb. Faith can move mountains. Here I place that faith on yourself. That is your friend, philosopher, guide. So it is an encouraging expression. I just say that every young man and woman has to understand this one. So there is only one relative to you. There is only one friend to you. If all members in the society go away from you, there is only one friend remains with you, and that friend is your friend, is your philosopher, is your guide, is your father, is your mother, is your teacher, is everything. And who is that friend? It is your faith. It is your belief. It is your self-confidence. It is an encouraging expression. That's the reason that I say that. It is an encouraging expression. If your beliefs and convictions are strong. Remember, my dear friends, if your beliefs and convictions are strong enough, you will be capable of accomplishing remarkable deeds. If your beliefs and your convictions are strong enough, you are going to accomplish wonderful things on this planet. That's the reason. Try to improve your faith. Try to develop your self-confidence level. Knowledge has to give this thing. When you read a poem, when you read a piece of literature, when you read a paragraph, when you read any theory of any scientist, that has to add on, that has to add something to your knowledge. Knowledge always makes you bold. Knowledge makes you courage. Knowledge makes you courageous. Knowledge makes you self-confident. So education is nothing but providing confidence on yourself. With confidence, you can move the mountains and create a wonderful path for your life. Mountains may be there on the way. You know very well, when national highways are installed, when national highways are created, so there might be some mountains on the path. So the government, with all proclaimers, with all the machinery, they clear all the mountains and create a way to that city. In that way, life is not a bed of roses. Life is not full of all comforts. There might be mountains, there might be problems, there might be difficulties. So if you have confidence on yourself, if you have faith on yourself, if you have belief on yourself, I am sure that you can achieve anything in this world. If your beliefs and convictions are strong, you will be capable of accomplishing remarkable deeds. Faith can move an ordinary person to the level of extraordinary position. You know the wonder value of this proverb. Faith can move mountains. Faith, if you have faith on yourself, so that faith can move an ordinary person to the level of extraordinary position. An ordinary person can move herself to the extraordinary level. Think about Mahatma Gandhi, an ordinary man raised to the extraordinary level. An ordinary man raised himself with all his efforts, with all his passionate efforts, that he raised himself to the extraordinary position. Because he had faith on himself. He was self-confident. He had belief whatever he confirmed, whatever he thought, whatever ideas that he had, he had self-confidence on himself. He believed truth and non-violence are the right precepts, right convictions. I have to choose this one. And that is the life that he led. That's the reason he became model to all the members in the world. That is the reason that I say that one. Faith, one must gain faith on oneself. That is the thing. Faith can move on an ordinary person to the level of extraordinary position. It challenges whether your faith is right or wrong. So these proverbs challenges every individual. You have faith. Do you have faith on yourself? If your faith is right or wrong, come on, challenge yourself. Check yourself. When you say that you have faith on yourself, when you say that you are so self-confident, when you say that you have a lot of belief on yourself, you are convicted, your convictions are very strong enough, you check yourself whether your convictions are right or wrong. It challenges each and every one. So this is the introduction of the proverb, faith can move mountains. Let's go to the meaning and explanation. Mountains represent. Why this word mountains is referred in this proverb? What does it indicate? What does it represent? So mountain, the word mountains, what does it represent? Mountains represent difficulties, obstacles, hurdles. As I told you already, my dear friends, lovely friends, try to understand. difficulties, mountains. So the word mountains means difficulties, obstacles, hurdles. When you are leading your life, lead your life like a hero, lead your life like a leader, lead your life like a champion. And that is the thing that you have to learn it. And mountains represent difficulties, obstacles, and hurdles. So here mountains, so the word is selected so in a figurative manner. It is used in a figurative way. So mountains represent difficulties, obstacles, hurdles. Life is, there might be some difficulties, there might be some problems in our life. When you have faith here, faith represents one's beliefs. Faith represents one's inner motivation. Faith so represents one's self-confidence. Remember this one. Faith, so faith says, faith represents one's beliefs, one's inner motivation, one's self-confidence. So these two words, the power of faith can move mountains. Faith represents one's own beliefs. Faith represents one's own convictions. Faith represents one's own inner motivation. Faith represents one's own self-confidence. Mountains represent difficulties, obstacles, and hurdles and problems in the life. How can you cross over? How can you so move from one area to another area when the obstacle like mountain is erected there on your path? With self-confidence, my dear friends, with faith on yourself, you can clear all the obstacles and make a wonderful way and just proceed and you reach your goal. And this is the meaning and explanation of this one. We'll go to the examples and explanation. Remember, here, in the examples, I'm going to talk about two personalities. So, who are very historic. They are historic people as long as human race exists on this earth. So long as people can't forget these two personalities. One is Mahatma Gandhi's life is a clear example. So faith can move mountains. For this proverb, the best person's life is an example. So for this proverb, his belief in truth and non-violence unshakable. He had enormous faith on truth and non-violence. His faith on truth and non-violence, his faith in truth and non-violence unshakable. He had unwavering faith in truth and non-violence. Many a time, crucial positions occurred in his life to violate his principle, to violate his faith, truth and non-violence. But never, my dear friends, whatever the problem that he had, whatever the problem that occurred in his life, to deviate him from his principle, his faith, his belief, truth and non-violence, he was unmoved. He remained so very, very strong, and he gave highest importance to his principle, to his faith, truth and non-violence, and that made him the father of the nation. That made him the champion for all the masses of India. That made him the leader of India. That made him so the great personality in the entire world. His strong belief got independence to the world, to the country. His strong belief so got independence to country. He believed that Indians are going to get freedom. He believed that Britishers are going to give freedom to India. So he believed that it was inevitable. Britishers had no choice at all. Britishers had no other way except accepting our principle, accepting and our freedom. So Britishers had no option for them except giving freedom to India. So he was unshakable, he was unmoved, he was unwavering with his principle, because the principle he had the strong faith on that one. His faith in non-violence keeps on inspiring. For your kind information, his faith in non-violence keeps on inspiring civil rights movements across the world, even today also. For kind information, my dear friends, so if there is any movement taken place, any civil rights movements taken place in any part of the world, so all the leaders, they try to follow Gandhiji's philosophy. So non-violence, non-violence. And India, people may ask, what did India teach? India taught to the all the members in the world non-violence. So Mahatma Gandhi so taught the principle of truth and non-violence, the weapon of truth and non-violence to the entire humanity. So with the truth and non-violence, you can win anything. So a person who had strong willpower, a person who had strong faith on his principles, so he got achievement. He remained extraordinary personality. He remained a role model to all the members in this world. Next personality, I'm going to talk about another personality, my dear friends. So let me tell you, who is that? You may ask me, who is that person? Nick Vujicic, a modern man. Nick Vujicic's life is highly motivational of faith. Nick Vujicic's life is highly motivational of faith. You may ask me, who is this man? He's an Australian motivational speaker. He is a wonderful personality today. He's a highly motivational speaker for all the young men and women. So he's a great personality trainer today. Do you want to know something else extra about him? For your kind information, Nick Vujicic was born without arms and legs. Remember, friends, Nick Vujicic was born without arms and legs. Imagine, can anyone think a person born without legs and arms creates history? He is creating with his speeches. He is creating with all his phone calls. He is creating with wonderful donations. He is creating wonderful by himself, organizing non-profitable organization called Life Without Limbs. He started one non-profitable organization. It's running like anything with all the funds from all the members, well-wishers of the human society. He gathered funds for, and he is also contributing that one. He is running that one successfully in the world. So that's called Life Without Limbs. A person born without arms and legs. And when he was a child, remember, when you don't have one hand, we feel mentally like anything. Emotionally we feel depressed. But you think about that Nick Vujicic. When he was born, he had no limbs, he had no legs, he had no arms. Suffered mentally, suffered emotionally with a physical disability. He was not given admission in the initial stage in any school. He was not given admission in any school but slowly over time, what happens? Over the time, so with his strong faith, with his strong belief, Vujicic gained immense faith in himself. He developed immense faith in himself. With that immense faith in himself, he started swimming. He started making phone calls. He started attending phone calls. He started giving speeches, and within no time, embraced his disability. So what happens? The great recognition has come to him. So he embraced his disability. He loved his disability. For your kind information, And when he was a child, he felt very, very bad about himself, and mentally he suffered like anything. When he was not given admission, so he felt a lot. And you might have prayed to God also, oh God, why did you create me like this without arms and legs? Just imagine, beyond imagination also. But when he's making all his trials, when he's making all his efforts, with his immense faith, so he embraced his disability. He loved his disability and began delivering motivational speeches. Began delivering motivational speeches like anything. And he truly embodies the idea that faith can move mountains. He truly embodies the idea that faith can move mountains. A person born without arms and legs, but became so a popular motivational speaker and a popular motivational personality trainer, and is very, very popular across the world. He embraced his disability and created history, and is creating history, and is not confined to that one only, and is also serving the fellow humanity by establishing non-profitable organization Life Without Limbs. Just imagine like that. Now coming to conclusion, success in anyone's life depends on strong faith. Remember, my dear young friends, success doesn't come so easily. You may be intelligent, but sometimes what happens, success doesn't come to you unless until you have faith on yourself. Then unless until you have strong belief on yourself, success will not be yours. That's why I want to say only one thing to all the members, to all the young members of the society. Success in anyone's life, so it depends on strong faith. Blocks like mountains common in life. Hurdles like mountains may be common in life. So with all your faith, with all your belief, with all your self-confidence, you can chase all, you can just remove all the blocks, and you can create a wonderful life for yourself. One should cross over all these obstacles with a strong faith. One can make one's life with one's own faith on himself. That's, I want to say this one. So with self-confidence, having faith on yourself, having belief on yourself, convicting yourself to your beliefs, and you can achieve wonderful success. And that's the greatness of, so faith can move mountains. So before we leave, let us recall what we have learned about these two proverbs. Today we have known about the great enchantment of actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. So how actions speak? Speak less and do more. So your action is important. Your character is going to be assessed by your action. What you do is going to be a model for the next generation. Instead of speaking useless talk, and try to do any action, and that is going to set a model to the next generation. So today we have understood that speak truly what you can do. Don't bluff the people. Don't make any false promises. Try to speak truly whatever that is possible by you. So honesty is cultivated with honest way of doing. The great quality of honesty is cultivated with honest way of doing actions than speaking. So how you do the things, you cultivate the habit of, cultivate the principle of honesty. So you can gain the wonderful quality of honesty by doing the things with an honest manner. So that's all about words. So speech, actions speak louder than words. When you think about our next proverb, faith can move mountains. So self-belief can move a person towards progress. When you have self-belief, that can move towards progress. So self-confidence clears one's own path. When you have self-confidence, that can clear all the obstacles on your path. Success can be gained with strong faith on oneself. Remember, my dear friends, success can be gained only when you have strong faith on yourself. Problems and difficulties will be disappeared. I just say to you, problems and difficulties will be disappeared if one proceeds further with a strong faith on oneself. By saying all this, I really feel very happy talking the enchanting human values, the enchanting value about these two proverbs. Actions speak louder than words. Faith can move mountains. I hope the viewers could understand the deeper meaning of these two wonderful proverbs, and you also understand how these two proverbs are going to enhance your values of achievement, values of extending help to the so your fellow human beings, and how best to remain yourself as a member in the society, how best you how best yourself you set yourself as the example to the next juniors. So by studying, by understanding, by knowing the better meaning of these two proverbs, we can make ourselves as a good citizen and set ourselves as a good member in the society. And that is the thing that we can show to our students and show to our younger ones. And we can set ourselves as model to them. In that way, the values of us and the values of them will also be improved, and ultimately and eventually, so society will be better. So thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much for understanding the values of these two proverbs, and thank you very much for understanding all the 8 proverbs. So for the last 4 days, we have been talking about these proverbs under the topic called this value orientation. 8 proverbs have been discussed very, very clearly. I hope everyone has understood very well, and I hope that the values can be improved, and so ultimately society will be better in a very short time, and every student is going to be a useful member. So he is going to be a good citizen of this country and a good citizen of this uh, humanity, good citizen of this world. And wishing like that, I take leave from you. Thank you very much, my dear friends.